Well, hi there, Internet. My name's Court, and this weekend marks the 80th anniversary of DC Comics publishing Batman #1. Now, of course, Batman had been in Detective Comics prior to that, but what makes this such a momentous anniversary is Batman #1 featured the introductions of both the Joker and Catwoman. And because I have a healthy appreciation for Batman, I thought I'd make a video about each character. In both, I'll talk about what I love about them, and then I'll rank my top 5 favorite interpretations of the character sourced from movies, television, animation, comics, video games, all that good stuff. Now, before we get started, I will give you a caveat. I have read a lot of the classic graphic novels over the years, Dark Knight Returns, Batman Year One, Killing Joke, Hush, etc., but I haven't read the 80 years plus of comics, so I don't know everything. I'm just sourcing from what I do know, so take that for what it is.
And here we go.
The Joker was created by Bob Kane, Bill Finger, and Jerry Robinson, and was inspired by Gwynplaine, or possibly Gwynplaine, a character played by Conrad Veidt in the 1928 German expressionist silent film The Man Who Laughs, the title of which was later used for a Joker-centric run in the comics. I remember before the release of Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight, a lot of people were photoshopping what the Joker could look like, and someone took a picture of Conrad Veidt, The Man Who Laughs, and made this. And I love this thing. It's one of my favorite pictures of the Joker ever, even though it's totally fan-made. And the Joker really is one of my favorite villains in all of fiction. He's funny, he's fascinating, he's terrifying, and we know next to nothing about the guy. He's a gregarious showman that's also quite lethal, with a peculiar sense of morbid humor, and in some misplaced cases, justice. So in honor of this one bad day, here are my top 5 Jokers of all time. Now granted, this list could look totally different if you were asked me tomorrow, but this is what it looks like today. First though, a couple of honorable mentions. Cesar Romero in the Batman 60s series and the Batman 66 movie. Now I'll be honest, I'm not a huge fan of either of those. I don't think they're bad, but they lean heavily into camp. Camp has never been a thing that I really connected with, and it's also just not what I look for with Batman. That said, despite refusing to shave his mustache, Romero was all in on the role. And while it's not for me, I can appreciate how good he was. Another honorable mention, Jared Leto in Suicide Squad. I know, and I'm sure this'll get a lot of people mad at me, but hear me out. I find this iteration of the character more interesting than maybe me liking it, and there is a lot about it that I straight up don't like. The grills and the tattoos come to mind. And Leto's on-set method antics were a little ridiculous. I will say, outside of the tats and the grills though, his look is totally the new 52 with the slicked back short neon green hair. And one of the reasons why I find this version so interesting is because there is so little Joker in the film. I don't even really have much of a read on Leto's characterization. I would love to see all the stuff that they cut. If I did, maybe I would absolutely hate it. Maybe I would absolutely love it. I honestly have no idea. But there's an enigmatic quality here that I do find interesting. Anyway, honorable mentions aside, let's get to the actual list, shall we? Number 5, I have Joaquin Phoenix in Joker. Love this movie or hate it, I think it's really difficult to not be able to appreciate Phoenix's actual performance. The idea of his Joker laugh being a symptom of pathological laughter was a great idea. The dude lost 52 pounds to play Arthur Fleck, and he looks gaunt and wraith-like. I have some considerable problems with the movie overall, but to me, his performance is absolutely striking, and I love the makeup and I love the costume. I don't love the hey, what were they thinking? Number 4, The Killing Joke, written by Alan Moore and illustrated by Brian Bolland. I absolutely love this story. If it were a definitive origin for the Ace of Knaves, I'd probably have a problem with it. I don't necessarily want to know who this guy is or why he is the way he is. But Alan Moore heavily suggests in this story that the story that we're getting from the Joker is possibly something he made up in his own mind. He even says at one point if he's going to have a history, he wants it to be multiple choice, which is something Christopher Nolan kind of laid into in The Dark Knight. The story is one of the darkest made about the character. Brian Bolland's illustrations of the Joker are my favorite I've ever seen. And then there's that ending. Does Batman kill him? Does he not? We may never know, but I love that that's a question. Number 3, Jack Nicholson and Tim Burton's Batman from 1989. This is the Joker that I grew up with. He's goofy, he's menacing, he's Nicholson. He's the Joker. Maybe a little portly and old, but he's the Joker. And he says some whack-ass
I'm of a mind to make some mookie.
I have no idea what that means. Truly though, Nicholson defined a generation of the character, and I can't imagine the character without his influence on it. Number 2, Mark Hamill, Batman the Animated Series, The Killing Joke animated film, the Arkham games, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Hamill was born to voice this character, and he's been doing it off and on since the early 90s. He can be kooky, he can be scary, that laugh is just threatening. If you're looking for a great Joker episode from the animated series, I would recommend Joker's Favor. The Joker sort of intimidates this random guy on the street to owing him a favor to be paid at some point, and it's fantastic, isn't it, Bats? Sorry. Number 1, Heath Ledger, The Dark Knight. Of course it's Heath Ledger. I remember the uproar because internet, when he was officially cast in the role, I believe it went something like, he played a gay cowboy, therefore he simply cannot play the Joker. Okay? Personally, I didn't feel too strongly about the casting either way because I wasn't all that familiar with Ledger's work, but the dude killed it. His performance, coupled with brilliant writing, is truly a Joker for the ages. It also certainly helps that he was the villain of one of the greatest comic book movies of all time, in my opinion. And I love that Ledger was involved with creating the costume, creating the makeup. He did a lot of improvising. It's just so good. So those are my top 5 Jokers over the last 80 years of the character. And now I want to know, who are your top 5 Jokers? Or if you don't want to rank, who's your favorite Joker of all time? Whatever your thoughts, hit the comments below. Let's discuss. If you enjoyed this video, please smash that like button and give it a share if you really enjoyed it. And hey, why not take a second, do me a favor, click subscribe and ring that bell to subscribe to my channel for more movie reviews, entertainment news, trailer reactions, top 5 lists, all that good stuff. I want to say thanks very much to my friend Sully for helping me source a bunch of images for this video. Check out his Instagram feed at OnThisDayInComics, where he gives you every day whatever happened on that day in the history of comics. Gives you some interesting factoids. It's really, really cool, so check that out. I hope you guys are all safe and healthy. Thanks very much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.